Let's proceed with the report backs from the breakouts. Group number one was the Scribes Bill.
I'd already started, but I'll start again. I didn't realize I was muted. So group one was 5 people. 3 people are able to go, and 2 of those people are actually prepared to ask questions. We started already talking about what sort of things we could be doing outside, like making a large banner with all the groups on it, carrying placards with specific questions to the council on them. So as part of this development, we need to sort of coordinate what's going to go on outside with a small working group, strangely enough. And somebody needs to actually start coordinating the questions that are going to be asked as well. So we've got a good 3 out of 5 score. And the 2 that can't go are both prepared to help. That's me and Julie. So although we can't go. So that's group 1.
Richard, do you want to do group 2? We were group 2, I think.
Yeah, group 2. Yeah, I think most of us can go. Steve's very kindly going to try and rearrange a meeting that he's got scheduled. So he may be able to come. How many? I think we were 6, weren't we? So I think 5 of us can go. So that's good. We were kind of focusing on the messaging a bit. Obviously, in terms of the media, it's good that it's the 5th year anniversary. So I think that can be a highlight that we can pump out to the media. There was some appetite for celebrating anything positive that they've achieved, since the declaration, to acknowledge that and celebrate that. But the key really is to get Kluwer out there, so that citizens can look him in the eye and ask him some questions. I mean, we did talk about there's a pretty big gap between what they initially said they were going to do and what they're on track to achieve so far. So it would be good to be able to ask the leader of the council how he's going to close the gap, and actually, put him on the spot a bit, hold him accountable. I don't think we can give him a free ride, because he's quite smarmy, isn't he? Let's be honest. He can do the old blagging bit, but I think we really need to be kind of prepared for that, to say, well, that's actually not good enough. The data shows that you're not on track. You need to up your game, and we want to know that you're going to do it. I mean, he might be thinking he's not going to be there for very much longer. I don't know, but whatever.
I think I'd rather him than the other guy, but only as an individual, not as a party.
Can I
okay, so
yeah, go on, Rose. Yeah, because
the thing we also agreed was that actually we're all here. What are your challenges? How are you going to close the gap? How can we help you? So it's not just adversarial, but we're in this together. Obviously, we're not going to let him get away with his smarminess, but at least there's a potential for a partnership, possibly, and he can hear our messages.
Okay. We need to talk to you about that, Rose, because we already are working with them. So.
Oh, well, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we need to talk about it because it's not working very well.
Oh, right. Okay. Very good.
A bit more smarminess going on. But
I think it's still very much a worthwhile point to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
And saying we're here to help. We want to work together. It's not been fantastic, but there has been some progress. But it could be so much better in how we're working together. They're not making most of the opportunities of our offering to help. So for Green Open Homes, yes, they're kind of offering in 500 quid, but to be honest, they could have been a lot better. Our experience of working with them so far, and so on. So I think there's something more encouragement needed around about making use of the community to help them.
Okay. Sorry, group. Can I just ask, group 2? Richard? Can you write all the stuff down? And are all the people in group 2? I'm sorry, I think it's. I know 3 people. So it's 4, including Steve. Can you just add the names to the bottom of it so we know that you're contactable and what you're actually having to be able to do? Because otherwise we'll just lose all this in the chat somewhere. Okay, group 3.
Before you move on to group 3, I'm the chair's prerogative. That's a really high quality of thinking, group 2. Thank you very much, and quite diverse. And I think that the nature of the climate emergency is such that if you're a council and you're not upping your game, then you're not responding well enough. That's the same with countries at the COPs. And they are trying to nudge us, Wiltshire Council are trying to nudge Wiltshire Climate Alliance into their comfort zone by patting us on the head for one thing or another. That we're being sincerity bombed by honest Dick Kluwer and by Councillor Nick, surname to be provided.
Sorry,
group
can
3.
Can I just make one other thing, mention another thing we talked about? I love the idea of the Samba band, which is not available on the 20th, somebody mentioned. And it may be too late to do something now with only a couple of weeks. But I will mention this is happening at the Cultural Assembly at Pound Arts on Saturday, which is all about the art of the sustainable and how the arts can get engaged and be part of the movement. And I put in the chat something I read this morning about the UK climate choir movement. And it might be rather wonderful to maybe somewhere like Wiltshire Music Centre, Pound Arts, which is declared an emergency, and is part of Culture Declares Emergency, to perhaps develop a choir. And so then next year we've got a whole song about insulating homes or whatever the subjects are. And there's a whole
good idea.
It's a nationwide movement which is growing in strength. So just read the article. So I think that's something for the future.
Could you give us a link?
Thanks, Rose.
I put it in. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, can we move to group 3, Chair?
Okay, so quick summary of what we were a little bit maybe not optimistic about whether or not we could get sort of a big enough demonstration outside to sort of make it look sensible rather than look small. And so we really concentrated on, well, one idea we had as an alternative was to see if we could have a stall, possibly even inside, which we could where we could sort of have our presentation, as it were, and we focused on the discussions on the sort of subject areas where what the key questions we try and ask. So we divided them into the council's own emissions and the counties. In terms of the council's own emissions, where there is some sort of baseline and budget, and obviously we need to highlight how that was going, and then the specific things maybe like their retrofit and energy targets, their transport and cars targets, their procurement targets, and whether they're addressing those at all. And one thing we could do is use the scorecards to try and sort of see if there's pick out any key examples of best practices to guess. And for the county emissions, some of the key things are raising awareness and what they're doing about that. Establishing a partnership, like we've talked about, with key stakeholders from the major organisations in the county to share best practice and get other speakers in to talk to them and encourage them from other places and what they're doing best. And also food, of course, which is a biggie, which they need to start thinking about how they're going to address that, because it is a big part of the consumption emissions of Wiltshire. So that would sort of our thoughts. Does anyone else want to chip in and refine that a bit?
Can I just, before you go on to that, those questions are asked in council or outside, or? Probably
in council, but obviously we've got limitations on what we can do, and we didn't allocate who was going to ask any of these things. But personally, I haven't actually been to a Wiltshire Council meeting, so probably someone else is better to come up with the best way to do that.
So from somebody from your group, I don't know what the group is, but please put them in the chat or put them in the list, Julian. But how many people are prepared to go to the meeting in your group? Can you put your hands up if you're Keith? Okay. I'm sorry, I can't see them all. I'm a bit like.
You can do both. You can be outside at the rally, but just go in for 10 a.m. and within 10 minutes it'll be questions and statements from members of the public. Yeah. But there's a red tape procedure you have to go through at least a week in advance. Claire, unmute.
Hello. I was just wondering, when we've had the rallies before, when the rallies have taken place before, have you had a good idea of how many people are going to come? Because our concern in our group was that it would look quite diminished if it wasn't a reasonable number of people. But did you have any ideas before as to who was going to come with the samba band and all the rest of it? Because a lot of people came, didn't they? The ones I've been to. How was that?
I think Claire, the way it's happened before is something else. For example, the incinerator drew a lot of things in. Samba band came along as well. XR have been before, so all sorts of people have mixed in with it, and all of those people are in our group in Wiltshire Climate Alliance. So it's sort of. I think that we had last year. We probably didn't have that many. I think we probably had 25 people there, something like that. But that was enough for Claire and whatever his name is, the other guy, the climate cabinet member, were there and answered an awful lot of questions then. So it didn't fail just with 25 people. So I don't think if we've got that number coming, then I think we'd be fine. It'd be great if we had the samba band as well, because that seems to sort of like double the numbers, even if there are only 25 people there.
But we haven't got 25 people here, have we?
Not yet.
No. But how would you communicate with it? How would you communicate?
Well, we're going to send out a note after this meeting. Ask people to come, make sure that they're aware. And we do, as Andrew has already pointed out, we do have the grandmothers group coming who may be another 10. So I wouldn't, if we decide already there aren't going to be enough people, nobody will turn up. As simple as that. So I think we have to be positive about it. And if we get 25 people, it's great. And it's enough to ask lots of questions of the council, both inside and out. So I would appeal to anybody to come along, because it's actually quite an interesting morning to see the councillors and how they squirm.
One advantage of making a lot of noise and having a lot of placards and posters is that you punch above the weight of your actual numbers. It doesn't take more than a dozen people to be worth the press coming out with their cameras. Catherine, do you put a question in the comment? Could someone make a poster for social media?
Yeah, we need to sort that out. I think we've got to.
Yeah, I was just thinking if you had just something that we could share onto our group. So if you put one on Wiltshire Climate Alliance, I can then share it onto Sustainable Devices, and it just highlights it, because otherwise I don't think I'll get to know. And if you say we want people to attend, it's this, or bring your banner, and it just gets the word out.
Okay, I'll work with the expert and we'll get something done.
Great. Kath has very bravely offered to ask a question in council, even though she's never done so before. Anyone else who wants to do that, who turns up, have a go at asking a question, listen to the frustrating answer, we'll speed you beforehand with a follow-up and find out what happens in the halls of power. The meeting will probably go on for 8 blimming hours. Some of us have been known to stay the course. Jess, thanks very much. I only read part of your thing. And Rose, put me down for the Wiltshire Climate Choir. I sing bass. Very keen. All right.
Okay, so can we have group 4?
There isn't a group 4. There's only
3 groups. Yeah. Okay, fine.
Reflecting on that. So action from there, how do we take that forward? Bill, Christian, Andrew?
So Andrew, I need to make it clear. I'm not leading on it this time. I'm really busy with the Green Open Homes and work, so I can't take that one on.
So your defined role is to bring a PA.
Yeah,
and
that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, can I just say, I'm happy to coordinate, but I won't be there, so I can't ask questions or be on site. But I'm happy to sort of gather all this stuff together and start getting things moving. And I'm hoping with Julie's help to get some messaging out there, etc. So I think we could then, and really important that actually the feedback from those 3 groups comes to me as quick as all of the 2 groups comes to me, because we've got our group, and I can start thinking about how to actually structure that. But I would like another face to talk it through with, rather than thinking it all on my own. So is anyone else prepared to just join me in being part of that thinking group as to how we structure all of this? Okay, thank you, Richard.
And Andrew.
Andrew as well.
Accidentally raised a hand, so I've bought the large piano. And I thought that was really good. And it's, if anyone wants to tell us that they're coming and doing anything, or wants to ask a question, or has a question they want asked, do email Bill or me, or the contact at WiltshireClimateAlliance.org.uk email address. I think we've got ourselves an event. And after all, it's a 5th anniversary. It's halfway through to 2030. Guys, let's show them what we're made of. Jez.
So there was Catherine asked a very salient question about a poster for social media, and Bill said, "Oh Christ, we'll get the team on it." And
you're volunteering.
What?
You're volunteering?
No, I'm not volunteering, but there is somebody in Bradford who is quite good at making posters. I mean, I don't know if you have someone particular in mind, Bill, that you have.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh, okay. So
Julie, I was going to talk to Julie about it afterwards, but if you've got somebody else who can join that sort of graphic stream, then good.
Well, there's a woman called Becca who does quite a lot of reasonable posters.
Do you want to put her in touch with me then?
Yes. Yeah.
Becca.
Okay.
Thank you. Brilliant.
Fantastic. Look, it's just gone 8 o'clock. I think we've done really well on that item yet again. So this is a really landmark meeting. We want to, I'll guillotine that there and ask for, is it Keith and Adam, to just give us 5 minutes, I think is what you wanted, about the election project, update on planning, engagement by constituencies. Volunteers to help build on this are welcome. Can you, are you still up for giving us your update?
Yeah. Should I start? Can you hear me all right? Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, good. Yep. Okay. So yeah, we talked about this last time, and Tony's leading it. He just couldn't be here with us today. But just to recap for people who maybe don't remember or weren't there, the idea is to, with the general election coming up sometime this year, is to make climate and the environment a key election issue in each of the constituencies. There are 8 across Wiltshire and Swindon, to help voters as far as possible make an informed choice about which party and which candidate based on information we can share about their stance on the climate and environment. And to do this, we want to build coalitions of like-minded organisations, obviously Wiltshire Climate Alliance member organisations, but also others like wildlife groups and Friends of the Earth and church groups, anything else like that. People who are concerned citizens and who have some organising power. And the idea of bringing those together, coordinating them to deliver things like hustings and street events, leafleting, online debates, all that sort of stuff in the lead up to the election to try and raise climate up the agenda. And the idea of this, our coordinating group in Wiltshire Climate Alliance, of which there's sort of 4 or 5 of us, is that we would act as a sort of central body to sort of coordinate people, share content, ideas, information. And we've already started doing a spreadsheet for each constituency. And we've got lead members from Wiltshire Climate Alliance for each constituency, and we're starting to gather information on each of the constituencies to put together that sort of package of stuff. Keith will talk very briefly about what he's doing in South Cotswold constituency. I just want to mention one thing. Last night in Corsham, we had a film which Steve Abbott was at, which was the film Once You Know. It's a very good French environmental film they've seen. And afterwards, we had a debate with the four parties, so two parliamentary candidates who were declared for Conservative and Lib Dem, and Labour and Green Party representatives. And it was actually a really good debate and Q&A session based on the themes of the film. And what that showed to me is that the candidates or the parties are already starting to or willing to engage. And so it's not just about waiting for the election to be declared. I think there's the time now to start building those relationships with those candidates. So there's a lot that we can do. We've got the leads and we're coordinating with them. And the idea is really to build up that network within the local constituency. So Keith, do you want to talk about what you're doing in South Cotswolds in that context?
Yeah, I can do, because I volunteered for South Cotswolds, and as far as the Wiltshire Climate Alliance is concerned, it breaks some new boundaries as North Wilts has been split up, and we have a boundary now that extends half of the residents in the new South Cotswolds boundary are living in Gloucestershire. So I thought I'd get on early and try and reach out to some of the candidates who've already declared, and also some of the groups that exist in Tetbury, Cirencester, Kingswood, Cricklade, and see what's going on there. With candidates, I've had an informal meeting with the Lib Dem candidate, a lady called Ross Savage, to sort of sound out what he thought was a good idea. And in asking around in Cirencester, I found out that one of the people from there has just been named as the candidate for the Green Party, and our existing MP, James Gray, is up there for the Conservatives, trying to get into that seat. Labour yet to declare. There's one for Reform and another one for the SDP, who I haven't contacted. So that's going along. Most people I've spoken to in the various groups seem to think that sounds like a good idea, but not massive commitment yet to come on and say, yeah, we'd love to help organising that. But it's generally going down well, and creating the network and getting it organised is the thing. Comments are to try and get the candidates' commitments to dates really early on, so that their diaries don't get full up. Also, we thought people think it's quite a good idea having a bit of a pre-meet with each candidate with 2 or 3 representatives from those groups to ask them a few of the key questions around their climate policy and their own beliefs, and possibly produce a kind of summary profile of the candidate's position and his or her party position on climate issues to hand out to voters, so we can use that as a basis to spread the news. That's where I'm up to. More like the same really in the next few weeks, and then hopefully nailing down locations and places to organise hustings. If anyone's got any questions or want to ask them, I could share that what I've done with them so far.
Sounds great. Julian.
Yeah, just a couple of quick points. That film that you did, Adam, sounds a really good idea, and I wonder if you'd just try and replicate that with the same or a different film in each constituency. I think that sounded really good. The other thing I was going to mention was that I went to a Greenpeace online training last night, and they've got some quite good materials and ideas, and they're trying to do it across the country, and they've got sort of a contact list. So it's probably worth trying to start a Wiltshire Greenpeace Vote Climate sort of hub. It just needs someone to say they're going to do it, and then you go on the map and other people can sort of join, so that might recruit a few people for us. They've got things like Vote Climate posters and leaflets and things that they're preparing, so that could be quite useful for us. And the only other thing I was going to say was I think as you already said, Keith, really talking to the getting the candidates talking to the candidates early is very useful, and the Labour one should be just being selected in most constituencies now, I think, although I'm not sure if we got a good list yet. Thank you. That was all.
Thank you. Next is Jez in my list.
Lovely. Yeah, well, similarly, there's an organisation called the Melksham and Devizes Primary, who did a stall in Bradford. I think they've done one already in Devizes. They do seem to do one every week around the constituency, who seem to have quite a following. Actually, there was about about 10 people turned up to volunteer in Bradford, you know, just on the Saturday morning, just to get people to answer a simple questionnaire that had one related question to the climate. But I guess in some way we need to correlate all these different groups. There's another one that's doing an Operation Climate Vote as well, I think. In fact, that might be what it's called. But yes, it's going to take a bit of, I don't know what the score is on any of that, really.
Yeah, we're information together, so we're aware of the climate vote thing, that's the Greenpeace one and so on. But thanks for that, Jess. I think we've got that primary organisation listed on for that constituency. So thanks for that. But any of that's why we've got these leads in each constituency, because the idea is that they sort of pull together that information as much as possible.
Okay. Jess. Hi, Jess. Unmute.
Yeah. Hi. It was just to ask whether anyone went on a really interesting webinar early December that the Climate Coalition organised about environment and the culture wars and concerns about the upcoming election. I don't know if you went to that, Julian. I thought that was really, they had a sort of call to action. They're really concerned about the amount of disinformation and, well, outright lies that are being put out there and that will be used during the election, and has already persuaded major parties to change their environmental policy, perhaps, and the impact that that can have. And they had sort of several suggestions about effective ways or the best ways to challenge that on social media when those messages are being put out. I was just trying to look on their website, and I don't know if the webinar is available anywhere to watch, or the materials, because there was a follow-up letter that they were sending to MPs, I think, or to the government about it. But it was just maybe or when you're asking people for a call to action, it could be included. It was, I think, from memory, they were basically saying don't repost stuff, because then you're just amplifying the disinformation. But it was around kind of putting the facts up there to challenge it, but also, yeah, I don't know. Did anybody else go to?
To be honest, I can't remember where I went, Jess, but what usually happens with Climate Coalition things is they do record them and they make them available on request, but they don't put them on their website. So we can probably get hold of the video and give it to people who are keen to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing anything like a film showing, I'd recommend maybe, yeah, kind of showing a bit of that. Thanks. That's it.
Okay.
So we'll keep you posted. That's it. That's the end of our 5 minutes.
Can I just add to that? I really think this is absolutely critical. This messaging, getting the facts out there, this point. And I know that there are a number of organisations that, like Friends of the Earth as well, that are really, and Wiltshire Wildlife Trust as well, that have their own programmes in place already for the election. I think one of the questions I've got about this whole programme is, how are we going to get all these hustings organised? And shouldn't, in some cases, isn't it better for Wilts Climate Alliance to join with existing plans to run hustings, you know, and partner up with them? Because some of the bigger groups like the Climate Coalition and Friends of the Earth and so on, they're going to have a lot more of a pull on people than we are. Although in Wiltshire, of course, FOE isn't as strong. So I don't know, but I just wanted to put it to everyone. Just, you know, we need to be realistic about how much time these people have in each constituency, and maybe we need to narrow down
to the key event that's being run about climate in each constituency and support that, whether that's ours or whether that's someone else's that we join forces with. So anyway.
Good point. Very fair point. I think our intention is to feature this whole election action business in our next members meeting in a month's time. So in the meantime, we'll have gathered a lot more resources and information and evaluated things in the way that you've suggested, Julie, including our own strengths and weaknesses. And so we'll be in a position to really give it a good going over and make definite action plans from the point of view of common sense and what's sustainable at the next general meeting. Something to look forward to, really, I think, from what I've heard. Thanks.
Can I actually say that would be an ideal time for the things that Adam and Keith have been talking about, to share more with other people, to say this is what we're doing, this is what we've been to, this is what we've done. So actually it gives some meat to the thinking of the people who are coming in to see how they're going to deal with the election, because you're already on it. And if you're sharing the ideas that you shared tonight and more, then we can drag in a lot more people to come and help with this and make it a major meeting about the election.
Right. Yeah, good suggestion. We'll do that.
I'd like to see if we can circulate some information and resources in advance of that next members meeting then, which I guess will be on the same day in March as this one. No, we're in a leap year, a day earlier then.
6th. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks. So people can send in what you've said, what else you can put us on to.
It might be a suggestion that Adam, Keith, Tony start organising the meeting, because if we do that, you control what's going on, and maybe Julie as well, because I think if other people, you end up with a long chain that doesn't work very well. But if you guys are running it, you run the whole thing, and then we take it.
We've got a working group tomorrow afternoon, so we can take that on from there. Thanks.
Okay, good. Now we're running fantastic. The items are going really well. They're really positive. And amazingly, we're also running to time, even though we had an AGM. It's 8:15. Green Open Homes. Just a report on progress. What, Christian, Jackie, Julie? You can be brief as you like, but I know that it's going really well.
Yeah. Thank you. So I think we mentioned it last time round. Julie has put together some fantastic slides. So I'm going to hand over to Julie because she's been doing lots of the market. Oh, would you rather I didn't? I can talk you through them. I'll bring the slides up so we can have a quick look. But just bear with me. Let me just do this then. Share screen. Where are we? There.
That's dropping me in it at the last minute.
No, I didn't. I thought that's why you'd done the slides. But let me have a quick look. So Green Open Homes. There's an update for you. So basically, Green Open Homes gives people an opportunity to look at other people's homes where they've upgraded their homes by putting in things like air source heat pumps, solar panels, etc., retrofitting stuff. I think we all know that stuff. There have been Green Open Homes all over the place in different areas, but never across the whole of Wiltshire and Swindon. We're copying quite a lot what they did in Great Bedwin and Hungerford and that area, and we've been very helped by the experience of that group in this. So this time around, we're looking to attract 40 Green Open Homes across Wiltshire and Swindon, and that's going to be run between the 9th and 17th of March. At the moment, we are up to 28 homes registered on the Green Open Homes website. There's a bit of a gap. In fact, I'm just going to stop sharing this bit here, just so I can show you the map as to kind of where we are. So this is the Wiltshire and Swindon Green Open Homes page on the greenopenhomes.net site, and you can see there all the different homes. There's a bit of a gap down here, down in Salisbury, and that area here. So it'd be good to get a little bit more from that area. And then if you go to the list here, you'll see all the different homes that are open. So, and you just go in. So, for example, you go into that one there, it happens to be mine, and it'll give you kind of some information, and then you can contact the relevant person to make a booking. So if I just stop sharing there and go back to the screens, that I think it is. So this is a useful slide if I could understand it.
It's just the people we're aiming at. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the people that we're aiming at. In other words, WCA regional groups. We're very much hoping that member groups are, and they are helping to recruit homeowners.
No, they're not. So I want to stop there. That's really,
yeah,
really
gone over
important.
to you. Yeah.
I don't want to be negative. However, I really need everyone's help, because we don't have, as Chris showed you, that we've got gaps anyway around the county. And I've sent out several emails now, and tried to contact people directly as well. I bumped into someone in Waitrose and accosted them yesterday, so they didn't get away from me. But I was trying to find some enthusiasm to help us put posters out and flyers out, and get the groups involved really, and get the even just to get the awareness out there in their areas that this is going on. So I haven't had anything from. I've had one reply from Sustainable Warminster, which was basically, I'll let people know from their webmaster, and I've not heard from anyone else. And I really feel that WCA is here to run these campaigns with the groups and to support the groups' activities. And I know a lot of groups are running retrofit activities. So thank you, Jess. Yes, I will send you a poster. But I'm printing materials now, and this is a really good way to start warming up for the election, I think, because it's starting to get us connected with the council. Chris will explain that a bit more, and MPs and local parish councils and all sorts of people. So it's all sort of connected, and it's all got a benefit for our strategy through the year. So just if anybody on in the meeting today is in a group and involved in a group, can they please let me know what they need, and there's a little list in this presentation. I'm going to stop talking now. Sorry.
No, that's right. Thank you, Julie. Do chip in, because I think you've been noticing some. So I'll carry on. So we're hoping to have 40 homes. We're 28 homes. We just need a few more, and we've got some gaps. I feel confident that we will get there, but we need some more. So we're hoping that over 200 people will visit these homes and learn and feel more confident about doing work on their own houses and reduce their carbon footprint as being the bottom line. So to increase awareness about personal carbon emissions generated by homes and the benefits of making them more sustainable. And also this whole process should raise the profile of WCA and the member groups that are getting involved. So one of the whole point of this is to raise the profile of what we're all doing together.
Thank you.
Say again?
I'm saying thank you, which is like hint, hint.
Oh yes, yeah. So this is kind of showing who might be interested and so on, and the demographics. Do you want me to go into detail on this? I think I'll just
no. Carry on.
Yeah.
Move on. Yeah, that's
okay. So the kind of, I think it talks to itself. The slides kind of, it's all about reducing energy and being more sustainable and providing cost of living comparisons for the people who are going to be taking part. We're working with Wiltshire Council. So Wiltshire Council are helping allegedly. To be honest, we're having a little bit frustrating at the moment. I'll just stop sharing for a minute. So we're working with CSE, so the Centre for Sustainable Energy, who started the whole Green Open Homes project a while ago. They are hopefully going to be providing some funding for this. And also Wiltshire Council, we've had a few meetings with them, and Julie's been speaking with their comms team. It's a little bit like drawing teeth, I think, but eventually I think we're getting there to help them, or for them to help us to get the message out.
Can I just can I just be specific? Because I think the team, you know, this is a value for the 20th as well. It's a really important point that what's going on in publicity in the council is they're definitely trying to talk up what they're doing before they're ready to deliver it.
No.
And they've been putting out press releases as early as sort of November about, for example, Hug 2, which is their new home upgrade grant. And so it's the next scheme coming. And they encouraged us to put that into our press release about green open homes, which we did because we thought it would be really positive. And then we learned when somebody tried to apply for one that it wasn't ready, and they got a message from the website that you applied to saying that Wiltshire's not signed up yet, which, you know, this is what I'm talking about. So we're sort of, and then the journalist took me to task over it because I'd sent out a press release announcing it and said that, you know, he initially wanted to write a piece all about the council being misleading instead of about our nice positive event. So in a way, it backfired on us to be working with the council. And I had to spend the whole day sort of talking him down and getting him to see that we were trying to do something really positive to help people out there, you know, not forget the council. This is about people that are doing good things themselves with or without council help. And we wanted to focus on that. So what, you know, we need to be careful about. I've decided, I think we've made a decision now that we're not going to talk about that grant anymore until we know it's delivered, you know, and we see a change in the experience people are going to have when they go and apply for it. Anyway, so Andrew, you've got a question. Sorry.
Yes, and I'm mindful of the time. I just want to comment that this is a fantastic example of a very focused project team doing something which has a very short and powerful chain of cause and effect towards lowering carbon emissions in Wiltshire. I think some of us in Bradford-on-Avon ought to approach Climate Friendly Bradford members, because if they haven't been greening their homes, what have they been doing for the last 20 or 30 years? And like an art trail, if you've got a cluster in one town, people are more likely to come and visit because they can visit several. I don't know if you've approached Adrian Temple-Brown, who's done some fantastic greening of more than one house. But I also feel that it's a fantastic trial run of project partnership with Wiltshire Council, and thank you and congratulations for your insight into how it's been, and obviously your very sensitive handling of that. So that
I'm still trying to make it work actively, obviously, and we're getting there slowly, I think.
Yeah, I think the problem is the lack of sense of urgency from the council around getting this. You know, we've got certain deadlines to meet to make this a success, and we're not quite getting there. But I'm going to move on to the bit now. We need your help. Hang on.
What were the dates again? March the
between the 9th and 17th of March.
9th and 7th. Thank you.
So if you want to come and see a nice green open home, there's a whole there's that list of 28 homes, and you contact the homeowners direct, who will then
and we have several more short items after this.
I just want just a couple of bits, because we need your help basically, but we have to help you to help us, which is what Julie's been working on, which is what this next slide is about. There's a kit out there that Julie's been providing for the various different groups or individuals or anybody who wants to help. Julie, do you just want to talk around this one, because you've been doing lots and lots of work on this?
Yeah, very, very briefly. You've probably all got local newsletters that you often post in. I think most of them are on deadline right now for March. So if you do want a tailored version of the press release to put out in your newsletter or local magazine or whatever it is, please let me know. And also, please help us to post the event on event sites. So if you've got local event sites, and there is a list. Actually, I can send you a list of. Well, actually, if you go on the greenhomes.net website, you can see where all the homes are. And if there's one near you, please let people know around you, that word of mouth or however you like, or you can order some of our lovely flyers that are going to be printed this week.
Yep.
Sorry, Chris, can you
No,
stay
it's missed my thing. That's all right. Yeah.
and then I know that Kate, who needs a medal, by the way, Kate, thank you so much. I know you're still here, for all your support with the case study about your home, which went into the press release and which we want to get out there in a lot more glory than it's been so far. It was published by Marlborough News, which is great, but we want to do a lot more with it yet. So Kate's been amazing at supporting this, and she said that you know, I know she's already sent posters all around her area. So if people want posters and flyers, please let me know by the 9th at the latest, Friday. I'm getting them printed anyway, but you know, I'm gradually getting orders in. So the sooner the better. Let me know how many you'd like. And also there will be video clips that we want help to make. So the social media campaign that we want to run is going to be a lot more interesting than our usual ones, in that it will be people talking about their homes. And there's a lovely example that our dear Bill made for us yesterday, which is on Facebook at the moment, and it's already been rated as the best post for ages, Bill, so well done. So more of that sort of stuff, just people talking about their homes and why you should go and visit them, really. So let me know if there's anything specific you need. You've got my contact details. These are the posters and flyers I was talking about. Chris, can we go forward again? And there's also this is Bill in all his glory. We're on Facebook, Instagram and X, which was formerly Twitter. Are you following us? Some of you aren't, I've noticed. I've sent out little invites to people who haven't been, but you might not. You may not have got one, because I might not have known you until you attended tonight. So, and the next one, Chris. So if anyone on the call is participating in Green Open Homes in any way, either as a visitor or as a homeowner, I'd really love your help to make a little short video. It's just 10 to 20 seconds. Some comments from you on why you're interested in Green Open Homes, why you think it's a good thing, why it's going to help you, anything like that. And just send it to me as a file on your phone, an MP4 file from your phone. And I can then post those up to get people to come and get lots of interest. That's the last one, I think. Yeah, done. Yeah. So please help us, and you know, we'll hopefully get a lot of momentum and more followers up on social, so that we can capitalize all of that over the coming year and increase our membership.
Steve, in answer to your question, thank you very much, Julie. Sorry, I'm just reading the thing. So, Steve, no, it's not too late. 9th of February, but a little bit of give in that. But 9th of February is the closing date. So, if you know someone, ask them to email us. That'd be really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Julian, you got your hand up?
Yeah, thank you. Just two things I'd like to say before we go. I noticed the thing in the chat about, is it too late to recruit a homeowner? Definitely not. Please do. And about recruiting homeowners, I think, as Jeremy said, who ran the original sort of one of the original events, the only way you tend to get people is actually personally approaching people and, you know, encouraging them to do that and find the people and talk to them. Just sending stuff out just doesn't seem to work, as Julie was saying. So we've got about 8 committed around Swindon, and all of them are people I've personally talked to. So that my top ask for everyone here would be to either, you know, if you don't want to share information about your own home, see if there's any other green homes around that you can encourage. And also, particularly, the second point was talk to councillors, or especially those on working groups in relevant areas, and see if they will either engage, you know, maybe even open their homes or know other people, because that's one of the other key objectives, is to engage with these working groups and build our network. So that's the only other thing I want to say. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Julian. Any other questions on this? I think this has got significant possibilities to reduce the carbon footprint for Wiltshire, to help everybody go on the right kind of journey. But this is all about. So thank you very much, Julie. Thank you everybody else for all your help so far on it. And I think it's watch this space. It should be really interesting. Cheers. Back over to you, Andrew.
Fantastic. Thank you. This meeting has been as rich as a vegetarian.
You're muted there, Julie. But yeah.
Sorry, I just briefly wanted to thank again Kate and all the homeowners taking part, because it's massively important. Yeah, exactly. Massively important that you know, you're all being so generous with your time, and it's incredibly kind, I think. So thank you.
Well done, Julie. I've learned that most of the glass boxes in villages are actually openable. So I've been going around with all your posters and a set of drawing pins this afternoon. So I'm slowly spreading them out.
Well done. Well done. And that's what we want from everybody. That's great.
Amazing. As I said, this meeting's been as rich as a vegetarian Christmas dinner already. It's just gone 8:30. We've got 3 short items, which I want to take as just brief reports. First, Bill on our retrofit training bid to Centre for Sustainable Energy. Claire on Elms for All. If you want to opt out of doing this, well, we've got other meetings coming, but just progress on the tree planting, which I'd really like to hear. And then I want to raise the potential for an e-cargo bike project across Wiltshire. And then we'll be able to breathe again.
Okay, I'll start. The retrofit. We applied for retrofit advisor training. There was an offer made by CSE 3-4 months ago now, and what was attached to it also was a £5,000 grant to help us. Well, it was actually a no strings attached £5,000 grant, but talk about that in another time. We were successful, which is really good. So we've got 5 people in Wiltshire Climate Alliance are ready to go and get trained now. So we're full, if you like. We've got enough, and we'll work out how we train more if we can in the future. And I know CSC are looking to get more funding anyway. So along with and the training will take place sometime in March. Don't know when yet. It'll be 2 days online for the 5 people taking part, and then we'll be able to register that on the Wiltshire Climate Alliance site and say it's another part of the whole retrofit package sitting on our website, and we'll be able to advertise it in the members meetings, etc., etc. So when we're live, if you want to pass it around your groups again, we'll be able to help. But there are 2 other groups in our group who have already got it as well. So Bradford and Avon have got a grant as well, and so have Sustainable Warminster. So there's 3 groups within Wiltshire who've got a thing, and also Swindon have got a grant as well, so, and training as well. So I think between us, we're going to have 20 or 30 people trained up to actually give good advice, hopefully, for dealing with your home. So that's it. I'll keep you updated on when this is all going to happen and what we're going to do later. But I think we'll probably have a session in a couple of weeks' time when we know more as a group of people who are doing it, and keep you guys informed. That's it.
Isn't that good timing in relation to follow-up for the Green Open Homes? Absolutely stunning. Gobsmackingly bananas. Thanks. Elms for All. Progress on tree planting. I hear that someone has quietly been doing a huge amount of work. Are you there, Claire?
Yes, I am here. Yes, I've been staying quiet because I'm very tired after spending the morning tree planting. So, yeah, it's going along. It's quite different to what the way I thought it would go, but we've now got plantings, same as for the other things. Actually, a lot in the north of the county. So, northwest Cologne, we've got a farm up near between Twickenham and Swindon, Calne, Devizes. So what's happening is people are making contact and wanting the trees, and they're putting them in. It's a question of keeping up with those plantings and using them to our advantage, because people want to crack on, obviously, after the difficult start we had with the weather before Christmas. So the trees are now going in, And basically what's happening now is a sort of run around afterwards to publicise the event. So when someone was talking about posters and things like that, that's really what is a bit lacking at the moment, is to sort of create publicity for Wiltshire Climate Alliance visually when you turn up to publicise these events. So and to write them up and to celebrate the groups and publicise what's going on and the plantings that have taken place. So it's kind of very labour intensive, this project, because it does involve talking to the people, finding out about their projects, finding out what's going on, actually visiting where the elms are. So I'm finding it quite labour intensive, and it's all kind of ad hoc as to when the trees can be delivered. But it's good fun, and every time you meet somebody, you meet another person who wants an elm. That's the way it's working, and then it's a question of keeping up with those people. I've also had an offer this week of more elms from a different source, from somebody else who wants to diversify elms, who's got a lot of different small elms to plant up. So I'm thinking we've got about another month or so for the actual plantings, and then staging write-ups to the groups who have planted and why they've planted, or what it's all about for those groups. So that's where I am with it, and more help would be appreciated, but everybody else is busy with other things. That's about the sum of it. So if anyone wanted to ask me about it, Andrew?
Yes. What's 2 questions? Are most of these being planted somewhere in the public realm? And also, what sort of help, more specifically, would you most appreciate?
It varies. So what you find is that when you go somewhere, someone's got a bit of land. So the ones I've been doing today, for example, I've been in a school, Abercyllyn, and then I was there before planting in a publicly accessible wood. But other people are planting on a farm, or somebody's buying some land, and then somebody's got a bit of land where they want another one to go. Somebody's filling in a hedge gap. So it's kind of quite ad hoc. And some of the places are accessible and some of them certainly aren't. And then, of course, if you're involving other people, and certainly if you're involving children, you've got to think about being careful about taking photographs. There's quite a lot to think about. And then if you're thinking about people's land, people might like to celebrate what they're doing, but they don't want a lot of people traipsing across their land. So you've got quite a lot to think about in terms of how you publicise what you're doing, actually, to make it acceptable to all concerned. You've got to run it past everyone concerned. The help I would like is anybody else who likes turning up to things and just sort of talking about elms, or knows enough about elms, or feels they know enough about elms to go and chat about planting and why we're doing it and that sort of thing. If anybody else wanted to do that, that would be great. But I know everybody's busy, particularly at the moment.
Good, so that's clear. And I know everyone, there's been a lot of fantastic stuff, but I am awarding you the gold star for this evening's meeting.
Oh, that's very kind.
But there isn't a gold star on the Zoom icons. So, but that's brilliant. I just want to...
But if anybody can make me a T-shirt or something, that's what I want. I want a T-shirt. I want a T-shirt with an elm tree on it. That's what I'm after.
Sounds doable, eh, Christian?
What do you think?
Okay, Keith, unmute.
Just a question, Claire, is there already a link established with the Western Burt National Arboretum around your project? I know they're not quite in Wiltshire, but it felt to me like there may be a lot of like-minded people who are associates or members of the National Arboretum. My brother's a guide there, if that helps.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because they're obviously all about trees. They've had a massive problem with ash dieback there. Whether it fits with what they do. They're part of Forestry England, of course, so it is a little bit, I'm trying to deal with Forestry England, a bit sort of stuffy and formal, but it's just an idea. I'm asking if...
Yes, no, I haven't made any Western Burt, but what I'm finding is it's people who are doing smaller projects, because anything that involving something like Western Burt, you know, it's a bit like dealing with the Charity Commission or something. You'd have to go through 6 committees to plant an elm. So really what I'm finding is it's people who are doing community projects which already are involving other people, and or have got a bit of land and they want to expand on what's already been done, and don't have to go through a huge number of hoops just to plant a few elms. So you know, we've got to sort of stay focused on what this project can achieve. We're not planting thousands of trees because other people are doing, you know, major tree planting things.
Yeah.
This is about engaging with our member groups or our communities and celebrating what they're doing, and hopefully increasing the base of people who want to take part. I mean, for example, talking to the children today, they were so keen, enthusiastic. Honestly, it was great. They were lovely. They were really fun. And one of these trees we're planting, the Adomus, has got a really lovely story about where it was found in Spain. And this boy said, I'm going to Spain, I'm going to go and find that tree. He says, you know, so there's a lot of sort of feedback and a lot of celebration of what our groups do, and I think that's beneficial for everybody. And that to me is actually the way the project is working out, rather than focusing on, you know, we're going to sequester the load of carbon from this tree. I think it's about getting people and young people to value their environment. It's fantastic for that, and that's the way I'm seeing it. It's working. Or celebrating people like the old guy who's going to have one I was put on to today. For his final, maybe the final thing he'll do. It's about the stories of the people who want to do these things and want to increase biodiversity and so on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you did have a sort of flyer or something on it, want to plant an elm, I might be able to get some put up for people leaving Western Burt to see, but they may not allow that. You know, as you walk out, there's a sign saying, "Want to plant an elm in your own back garden?" Whatever it is, let me know.
I mean, that's one of the simplest, easiest things. People get in touch and they say, "How do I do it? Where do I go?" And I just put them in touch, and they're off. You know, so that's really good, actually. Yeah.
Okay, if you drop me something that's easily communicable, I'll send it to my brother and ask him if he can get it on into Western Burt. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, lovely. I'm going to do a sneaky segue into the final item, other than anything else anyone wants to chip in with, which is there's a national treasure, a chap who runs a historic fruit tree nursery in Buckinghamshire. In Bradford-on-Avon we have a community orchard. I've got a named variety of apple tree. We're going to organise a trip to this man to buy historic variety apple trees, container grown, soon, meaning in the next 2 or 3 months. Because they're container grown, they can be planted any time of year. This could be a Wiltshire historic variety, or an exceptionally early fruiting or late storing variety of apple. Could be dessert, cooking, or cider apples. Again, email into contact or some way. Climate Friendly Bradford-on-Avon may be the group that does organising this trip. You can come along, or you could order a tree. I'll put a link. I can't put a link in the chat, he realizes, because of my equipment problems, but it's Burnwoad Nurseries, Burnwoad Fruit Trees, if anyone's quick-witted enough to find that and put it in the chat. And that's my contribution. Let's have as many apple trees growing in gardens that are really quite special and unusual as there are people in Wiltshire Climate Alliance. And that was my sneaky segue. The last item I had was that I'm gearing, the Cargo Bike Foodways project is shelved for the indefinite future, but I'm pivoting over to a community e-cargo bike project where member groups or cycling groups will get a grant to buy a cargo bike and the other wherewithal that they need, getting support from an area board strategic manager. They're keen to do funding for groups to buy these cargo bikes. I've been networking intensively around the national cargo bike and community cargo bike community, and I will have access to some genuine bargains in refurbished cargo bikes and electrically assisted heavy duty cargo bikes. There's a guy who will do the booking software for nothing. We're really halfway there to having, all we need is the bikes, and you can then show it to your MP, your candidate, your councillor, your cabinet member, and to people in the community. Nothing beats having them in front of people. Most people in Wiltshire have never seen an e-cargo bike, let alone have any concept of what it can do. So keep in touch, and we'll post emails out about that, and hopefully get some thousands of pounds of Wiltshire Area Board money. And again, it'll be a nice trial run of working in partnership with Wiltshire Council, or in our case, local area boards and local councils. If anyone's interested, tell us in the chat or afterwards. Cargo bikes, you'll love them. That was all I wanted to say. It's not happening yet, like that other grant thing. You can't have the bike tomorrow. I want to bring the formal meeting to a close at 10 minutes to 9. Good God, it's been hectic. But will some of us be online for a while, for a chat, for a debrief, for a breathe out session? Andrew, have I talked to Spindles in Corsham? Yes, I've got a bike from them, and I'll be talking to them again. Thanks, Steve. Brilliant people, and they do need some support, I gather, as the best bike shop in West Wiltshire, closest to our own heart. So is anyone responding to that, thinking, yeah, I'll be in on that, we'll have a cargo bike in our group, in our community, in our area, in our town? So far, I can't see all the hands.
Catherine. Catherine's put her hand up.
Catherine, sorry, thank you, because I can't see all the hands on this device. Catherine, you're saying, yeah, you'd be into that. Device would be a great place for a cargo bike. Okay, and
yes, we're all for it in Devices. We love cycling.
And it's not too hilly, but of course, e-cargo bikes can deal with that. There are bikes that can carry 300, 350 kilos, a third of a ton now with modern e-cargo bikes and e-cargo trailers. It's just ridiculous what you can do. But if people can hire one out for nothing to collect compost from the garden centre, to take something to recycling, to do their fortnightly food shopping with the children on board, that shows you that a household doesn't need 2 or 3 cars. Okay,